Hey.
Okay, we're live.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
It's like you understand that you things that we have to use, you're gonna be off the plan, and by opting out, you're only like enrolled in open plan stuff. Cafeteria things are just good.
Paper world.
It just means that you understand the information. So like if you opt.
Our city council meeting for September 25th.
Butch.
Yeah, I don't think you're
Could you not hear me?
I couldn't before.
in. Now we can. You got
Probably just closer to your mouth.
closer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to city council meeting for Monday, September 25th. If we could have a roll call to establish quorum, please, ma'am.
David Avanzino,
Present.
Melissa Green,
Here.
Harry Meyer,
Here.
Terry McClung,
I'm here.
Autumn Slane,
Here.
and Steve Holofield is absent with notice.
All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first of all, we're going to have a public hearing regarding vacating Hayden Street between blocks 147, Lot 1, and block 136, Lot 12. Is there anybody here for this vacation of the street? Anybody have any comments on this vacation?
I need a vacation.
All right, hearing none, then I would call the public hearing to a close and get a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Get a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Slane, second. Any additions?
I'd like to discuss the police department budget.
I'll second that.
All right, and police department. Anything else? All right, all those in favor of the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Get a motion to approve the minutes for September 11th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes, September 11th, 2023.
Second.
And Ms. Green made the motion, Mr. Avanzino seconded. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We do have in your packet a nomination for Suzanne Gruning for the Planning Commission. So we'll be voting on her next time. We'll come up through here. We do have another vacancy on the Cemetery Commission, so if anybody's interested in that. And of course, we still have vacancies on the CAPC. So please, if you're interested, please submit your application to the CAPC. Public comments, please limit your time to 3 minutes.
Hi, is this good? I'm Annie Spell. I live at 215 Spring Street. We purchased our home in 2019. We have another home in Louisiana, but we evacuated with our family in March of 2020 and moved here full-time, and I've been here pretty much every day since. I do have some questions raised from the last meeting, and I read it in the newspaper, but basically regarding the approving the mid-year budget, it was tabled and council requested a workshop before its next meeting to discuss issues with the Eureka Springs Police Department Chief Brian Young. I think we need to talk to this police chief. I want to find out if he can justify this. This is about a $13,000 sniper rifle. I have some questions for the chief as well. In my prior life, I used to be a civil rights attorney, so some of that comes from this, and it may be issues that you haven't thought about that hopefully you will talk to your chief about as well. What assault rifles are currently part of the department's inventory, their armory? What is the community's need for this particular $13,000 sniper rifle? Is there an imminent danger requiring public notification? All of a sudden we have to buy this rifle. Is there something we don't know about? What is the effect upon our community when our police department becomes militarized by this military-grade assault weapon? What specific needs remain unfunded as a result of this seemingly extraordinary expenditure? Is this $13,000 sniper rifle urgent and necessary, and we have to have it, like it's for legal purposes or compliance? Is it urgent and necessary for some sort of mission of our police department? Or is it necessary to address a problem that we didn't know about and we should know about it? Is it desirable but not necessary, kind of like we could like to have it, but we don't have to? Or is it just a perk, like police cars, that we will use to enhance recruitment for new officers? Does this $13,000 expenditure for this particular sniper rifle enhance our public safety? Everyone I have spoken with does not want it. I have some comments from other people who are uncomfortable speaking tonight. Did the police chief perform a risk analysis prior to purchasing that? For example, has Eureka Springs in the past experienced hostage situations, rescue missions, mass shootings, or shootouts? Does Eureka Springs have attractive soft targets like large stadiums, military bases, and/or nuclear power plants that we need to protect with this military-grade weapon? Are there active hate-based groups, and do they possess military-grade weaponry? And finally, is there any evidence or intelligence to suggest that bad things are about to happen and bad things will happen if we don't buy this military-grade gun? Could a weapon of the same caliber and efficiency have been purchased at a much lower price on the open market? At the last meeting, may I continue just to ask this final question? Is it true that if this particular $13,000 sniper rifle is used by the Eureka Springs Police Department in any incident or coordination with the state police, the Eureka Springs Police Department can seek reimbursement from the state for the entire $13,000 cost of the sniper rifle, thus resulting in no cost to the police department and a $13,000 windfall to the vendor who sold the sniper rifle originally to us in Eureka Springs? Is this scheme for state reimbursement an incentive to find a use for this deadly weapon war in a situation where it might not otherwise be utilized? If so, who dies? I have a lot of questions, and I will give them to you after everyone has a chance to speak. Thank you.
Good evening. Somebody short was here before me. Good evening. My name's Buddy Spell. I also am occasionally residing at 215 Spring Street. And I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you all this evening. I'm not here to cast aspersions or to litigate this gun. I'm not here to discuss the fiscal concerns that my wife just brought up. I'm here to discuss some very concerning cultural aspects of this purchase. I have some fears and concerns. I've spent 30 years as a criminal defense attorney in the city of New Orleans and in that general area, and I concentrate on violent crime, murder, mass shootings, drive-by shootings, gang-related homicides. So I've had the unfortunate opportunity of seeing the destruction that these weapons of war can cause in a civilian setting. I've been to autopsies, I've been to crime scenes, and of course I get crime scene photos and videos every time someone on my docket gets murdered by one of these weapons. And these are things that you cannot unsee. My concern about having this weapon is the law of instruments. Essentially, if you carry around a hammer all the time, everything's going to start looking like a nail. And I think that the research has shown in the 30 years that we have participated in the war on drugs, that if we give local police departments access to military-grade equipment, they will find a way to implement in their day-to-day processes. Now, I'm concerned also because most of these weapons that have been distributed to local police departments throughout the country have come through the DLA. That's an agency with the Department of Defense where police can apply for equipment that they deem necessary. And then the Department of Justice vets that and says, okay, this particular thing that these guys in Monroe, Louisiana want, we're going to vet it and make sure they have a need for it, and they have the policies and procedures in place to adequately care for it. Then, once you get a DLA grant, at that time, it is under the auspices of a coordinator for the state of Arkansas to do oversight with the assistance of the city council. So, unfortunately, this did not come through a DLA grant, this weapon, and this weapon did not come through a grant through, say, through DOJ or Homeland Security or Department of Treasury, all of which have grants for these kinds of equipment for smaller and even larger law enforcement agencies. Now, I'm not denying that certain agencies do indeed need these weapons. I think in Oakland, California, they ought to have these weapons. And smaller jurisdictions, I mentioned Monroe, Louisiana, which has a terrible crime problem, Jacksonville, Florida. They need these kinds of weapons. My question is, do we need it? That's it. My question is, do we need it in this jurisdiction? I have a lot of extra questions too. Thank you for your time.
Just lay them down and Terry can pass them around. Thank you.
Is this the same?
I am Damon Hinkie. I am representing, I suppose, Rotary and an event that we're coming up with, Oktoberfest. So I actually just wanted to let you guys know that I have talked to the bar owners who are in the actual entertainment district. They're well aware of the wristband requirements, the hours of operations, kind of how this is going to flow. I don't anticipate any big production of this. There's just two bands in Basin Park. I think it's going to go pretty smooth. We're not even having a band in the actual beer garden. That's a little beer festival across from New Delhi. The beer won't be going in and out of there, so it's not, even though it's in the entertainment district, it's not designed for that. We really just wanted people to be able to listen to music in the park, walk down the steps, and it's instructed on all the maps to use the crosswalks and the actual footbridge. So I think we've done a pretty good job of actually talking to every operator in town to get out the information to use the actual appropriate places to cross Main Street in a safe manner. I don't think we're going to have a big brouhaha to call it something in downtown this weekend. But I just wanted to mainly let you know that we have educated the folks that need to be education. And I've already got 3 of the signs out. You have the 4th here tonight for later so that you can see, which is a stipulation of the actual entertainment district, to have the map and the boundaries up in 4 locations throughout the district. And we'll be handing out some information to the local shops downtown to try and get them all on the same page. So when somebody says, hey, how do I participate in the entertainment district? They actually know to go and get a yellow wristband from any of the participating bars or restaurants in that particular district. So all is on the up and up, and just wanted to let you know that for later conversation. If you have any questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Holler anytime. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bo Satori. I live at 2 Fairmount. I'm here to address the issue of the red buckeye tree at the post office. This tree is not only rare in Eureka Springs, but was most remarkable due to having just one branch, about 7 inches wide, at chest height. I've watched small children play on this limb for decades, especially over the past 9 years that my gallery has been located across the street from the post office. My neighbor's daughter, Willow, has begged to go play on the tree for the past 4 years, and I've shared her exuberance while her mother or I supervised her loving on this tree. Over the past few months, this one limb had become unusually heavy laden with buckeyes and then began hanging down over the sidewalk. I shared my concerns about the tree with the postal employees and suggested that they have someone prune it back, at which time they told me that the city building inspector had directed the postmaster to cut off the limb. Being quite alarmed by this action, I contacted Councilwoman Slane and asked her to look into it and to bring it up at your last council meeting, which she did during your discussion of the tree preservation. I also called Chris Fisher, who often advises parks and other citizens about our trees. He contacted the postmaster, and I offered to pay him to prune the tree. 10 days ago, on the Friday after your last meeting, the limb was needlessly butchered into the trunk and may not survive. One bit of advice that I've given every council in the last nearly 50 years that I've been here, and commissioners, no matter what commission you're on, A&P, planning, HDC, parks, any decision you're making, ask yourself, is this going to make Eureka Springs more charming or less charming? Because we're all banking on Eureka's charm. We all moved here because of Eureka Springs' charm. And we lost one of the most charming aspects of Spring Street by having this limb needlessly butchered. And I had talked to council. The mayor said that he would call the postmaster, which he didn't. I talked to an arborist. I talked to Kyle Honeycutt. I talked to everybody. I saw this coming a week in advance. And I tried to get somebody to do something, but it got a chainsaw and a bad cut. I blame myself. I saw it coming. I did all I could, but I didn't do enough. So what's next? Eureka Springs' charm is slowly eroding. And we need to be more attentive to the little things that make life in Eureka Springs magical. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else on public comments signed up? If not, that concludes our public comments, and we will go into our unfinished business. First item under unfinished business is water leak remediation plans. Terry McClung.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
All right. Our Public Works Director is here. He's got a report for us.
So I started getting a lot of calls about McKinnon Creed coming in town. You know, people seeing that purple and white truck with the strobe lights driving around the neighborhoods. And they've completed the assessment of the city. Good thing for us, save us a little money. We had less miles of water line than we assumed we did. So overall, they found four water leaks that were on the customer side of the meter. I've reached out to those customers to let them know that they had a leak. And then they found 9 leaks in our distribution system. Our biggest leaks so far were the hillside leak that we fixed. Main Street leak was a big one. And then we fixed 7 of them. We have 2 more that we're working on. And one of them's off the hillside off of Breeding. And the other one we can't quite exactly locate on East Mountain just yet. We're looking for it. So I assume by the end of the week, Breeding will be fixed, and then we'll tackle East Mountain, which I don't think it's a big leak. I think it's probably a service line leak, but where they marked it, it's not leaking, so we had to find it. Any questions?
The sewer plant, do you need money to fix the controls down there?
Yes. Next council meeting, I talked to the mayor about getting on the agenda of contacting McKinnon Creed about doing an I&I study of our sewer system, which is the smoke testing and then the surveying of our manholes. So I'll bring that to council next time. We do have quite a few issues at the sewer plant right now. We had an overflow. So it appeared that somebody may have dumped some sewage down the road from the sewer plant, so one of the pull-offs, if I'm not mistaken. But we also had an overflow at the plant, and it seems like every time it rains, we have so much I&I stormwater coming in our sewer system that it's actually flooding our plant. So I think this, what I'll bring next council meeting to you guys is very important, because we need to figure out where that water's coming from and fix those issues so we could reduce that amount of rainwater that's infiltrating our plant and overflowing. So over the weekend, what Terry's been doing, our plant manager, is he's been bypassing what they call Lakeside, which is the inlet part of the sewage plant, and letting it come on into the rest of the processes, such as the SBRs and stuff like that. And it's a reportable offense to ADEQ. We're still treating their wastewater, but we're not getting the trash removal and the grit removal out during as the sewage is coming into the plant like it should. So, we definitely need to look at our system and figure out where that rainwater is coming from. I was meeting with Terry today, and our assumption is it's coming from the old areas of town where we still have a lot of clay lines and different things, but we're really unsure of where exactly it's coming from, and doing a smoke test, having a professional come in here and check all our lines is really the avenue we need to go. We did have an SBR that overflowed. One of the SBRs, the level indicators weren't working. They quit working, and they happened to be right after that sludge truck dumped down the road. So that was very visible. I actually was driving home late from work that day, and I saw it, and I called Terry in immediately to take care of it, and we've been kind of monitoring that. Today we had Madco Electric come out, and they found a bad connection in that system, and they fixed that connection, but also put in a filter for the electrical frequencies on the 480 volt system. We have a junction box that's too low, and when the SBRs fill up, it floods that junction box as well. So I told Terry we got to look at getting that raised up to where it doesn't do that anymore. So we're working on that right now. But other than that, it's just everyday business at the plant.
You said something about illegal dumping of sewage?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, Terry told me that a sewage dumping company, like a septic hauler, came to the plant and wanted to dump, and he refused them because we don't allow that. And the guy asked where you could dump in this area, and Terry didn't know. And then the next day, we started getting calls about sewage down the road. So I got a call from somebody, and they said they could see where they dumped it, and it splashed up on the banks and stuff. So I have no jurisdiction of that, but ADEQ is aware of it, and they're investigating it.
So you do have the name of the business of the truck that stopped?
Oh, I wish I did, but Terry doesn't recall who it was. So, just for everybody's information, the sewer plant is not open to the public. Sledge haulers, nobody could go in there and just dump. We have it all closed off for that.
Wow, I
reason.
wanted to go.
So I guess my question is, there are reports that have come in about illegal dumping. Did they have information on who was doing the dumping?
No, ADEQ is investigating it. We don't know. The state's investigating it. It's their jurisdiction.
All those guys have to be licensed, so.
Septic haulers are, but we don't deal with septic haulers here in the city at all.
All I'm
so
saying is ADEQ can get their license numbers and know
hopefully,
where
if they can narrow it down who it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have very much information because, it happened outside the city and by somebody that we don't deal with, so I don't really have a whole lot of information. I just pass it on to ADEQ just like the public's passed it on to us.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so we're going to try and get the company to go ahead and give us a quote on the sewer line smoke test, is that correct?
I have a quote already. I just need to bring it to council. And off the top of my head, I think it was about $104,000 to do the entire system. But that would also include the GIS mapping of our sewer system, which we need.
So will the smoke test help us with the sewer infiltration?
Yeah, the I&I is inflow and infiltration. It's when rainwater gets into our system, or creek water, or whatever the case might be. We just don't know. So what they'll do is they'll smoke test it. And last time when they did smoke testing, they found a bunch of service lines that were broken. They found people that had gutters that were hooked up to the sanitary system, which is illegal. Just the variety of different things. They found manholes in the bottom of ravines where the stream water would rise and it'd overtop the manholes, different things like that. And I think the last time that was done, it was in 2009, I believe, and I'm not really 100% sure of what all was remediated at that time.
What's that?
I don't remember it being that recent, but maybe it was. That'd be 14, 15 years ago.
I think it was. I think it was that long ago.
Well, I was thinking it was longer than that.
Oh,
You know, time flies.
I don't know. I had to put in a new sewer line. I know that. So that had to have been a good 15 years ago, I bet. Maybe 20. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I know some of the manholes are below street level by about that much.
And some of those manholes, underneath the lids, they have rain catches, little deals underneath them that catch the rain and are supposed to prevent it from going in there. But there's ways we could fix that, where we don't have to have that little gimmick of a device under the manhole lid, because you guys don't see that. The public doesn't see that. And, I think I strongly believe in doing things right. I don't want to have to redo them in my career. So, having this study done along with this leak study gives us an idea of what we need to do as far as capital improvements in the future. So we could start planning for line replacements, and we use scientific data to be able to present that to council instead of, this is my favorite neighborhood, we need to do it here.
Cool. Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Stick around for a little bit. We got something else for you later on. All right. Next item of business is the ordinance to amend the tree preservation. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right. Mr. Meyer made the motion and Ms. Green seconded. I think we're on our third and final reading. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We do have, and I think Madam Clerk had a comment from one of the planning commissioners, Mr. Buford, about a penalty clause and the definitions.
So on the, sorry, I'm getting it pulled up. I already did. Oh, there it is. So on the penalty
on your-
clause, it was on page 10. The wording on that, and it was original wording, the small species tree, large species tree, and heritage tree. On the large species tree is in the appendix, but there's not a definition for it. So Tom said in his email, he suggested changing it to from large species tree to large diameter tree. If you guys wanted to keep it consistent, we could just add a definition for large species tree and refer to the appendix like we have for small species tree. That would be up to you guys, or you could change it to small diameter and large diameter. And then I did have something else. I learned this in my institute that I was at last week. Oops, sorry, that copy did not scan in well. But it was talking about severability clauses. I think it would be a good idea to put that in here if council would like to do that. Basically, if one part of the ordinance gets overturned, the whole ordinance won't be overturned. So that should probably be something that we stick in there just in case they overturn a penalty or something like that. It's not going to null and void the whole entire tree preservation chapter.
Mr. McClung?
Is this the whole ordinance, or is this just an amendment to?
Should be the whole ordinance,
This is the whole ordinance, so.
front and back.
The ordinance originally probably had that severability clauses with something we put in all our
Normally
ordinances, and if
we
it's
had it.
it's in the original, so I don't know if you still have to replace it. I mean, it should be, I suppose, in the body of it. If we're replacing the whole thing, that we do have it.
It usually goes at what the severability clause is before it gets codified. So the code book is fine. It has a severability clause at the front of it. But in that limbo period, after it's passed and it's a law, and before it gets put into the code book, if any part of this is ruled unconstitutional or goes to court and something's repealed, then that severability clause, if we add it at the end of this ordinance, will prevent the whole thing from being null and void. So that's just something that council would need to put in there.
I think we do that in all our ordinances are written that way, aren't they, anyway?
Yeah, this one doesn't have.
That just got left
Yeah,
out,
it's
is
been
that what
left
you're
out.
saying?
I don't think Forrest wrote this. Did you write this?
No.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't.
So that's the reason it got left out, probably.
Okay.
What is your opinion on that? You agree?
I've discussed it with Ida, and this is a temporary thing until it becomes, and this is a temporary thing until it becomes codified. Once it becomes codified, we already have an ordinance regarding severability, which is in essence the same, but that doesn't take effect until it becomes an ordinance. In the meantime, it's in limbo until it becomes an ordinance.
Mr. McClung?
Well, first off, I would like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2345 by title only for its third and final reading.
I'll second.
Mr. McClung made the motion to suspend the rules and read this ordinance by title only, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yes.
Okay. So do we
Are
want
you
to
going to
make,
read it? Isn't that what I just made a motion?
Oh, sorry. I'll get there.
It's okay.
Ordinance number 2345, an ordinance of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, repealing and replacing 7.56.01 through 7.56.10.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2345 on its third reading.
And I'll second that.
Now we can discuss.
You'll want to make amendments
Yes,
before you approve
that's
it.
what I want to do now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that, at the suggestion of the clerk, that we add the severability clause to the end of, as a final paragraph in this ordinance. Also, it looks like the idea of the large diameter tree is an acceptable thing, so we need to do these probably separately. So first, I make a motion that we amend the ordinance and include the severability clause.
Second.
All right. We've got a motion by McClung and second by Ms. Myers. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And then next, I think we should, I agree with
Mr. Buford.
Tom's recommendation on the large diameter tree. And as she explained it, so how do you want that worded?
You can change the definition from large species to large diameter.
Just change the
Yeah.
word species.
I'd like to make a motion that we change the phrasing from large species tree to to large diameter tree
And small species tree
and small,
to small diameter, right above that.
is that also worded in there? It just makes reference to the large here.
They're both defined, it doesn't matter either way.
Okay. All right, so it's just the large?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's only the large that had the issue.
Okay. All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to amend it to a large diameter tree. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. So, Mr. McClung?
I'm just wondering if, I can't recall, if there was anything else that we'd left unattended from the last meeting for this third and final reading. I don't think so. I think we got it all.
I think we went over it a lot.
Anybody else have any thoughts or remember anything that we left out? I think we got it all too, Mr. McClung. All right, so we need a motion to,
No, we've already got it.
We've done that.
It's already been made.
Okay.
We're ready to vote.
all right, then we need a vote. Okay, we need to cut roll call.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That brings us up to discussion of ADA compliance. Autumn Slane, get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right, Ms. Slane made a motion, and Mr. Avanzino seconded. Ms. Slane?
I wanted to put this back on here to keep it at the forefront of our minds. I'm sorry, I should have removed it, but I do have some things coming on my next topic, so I think that will help relieve some of the burden for the ADA. I don't really have anything.
All right, anybody else have anything? All right. All right, next item is a resolution to approve mid-year budget. Is Michael here?
Motion to discuss.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, got a motion to discuss. It's Mr. McClung, Mr. Myers seconded. And our wonderful finance director is going to give us some answers.
Yes. Okay. We wanted to look at the professional services for the fire department. So I went and looked at that, and I think, without knowing Gary's absolute thinking, I think what he was doing was that he was going to cut that part of his budget a little bit, and then he's seen that he's not been able to. Last year, we were at $52K for the end of the year. He set the budget for 55, or that's where I'm setting the budget at, 55. What goes in there, there were things about pump tests, where they were doing some pump tests. There was some repairs that, like where they had to go hire people to figure out what needed to be repaired, and then the repairs went other places. Also, our ambulance payments are that we pay the collection agency that collects our ambulance payments go in there. And then the other thing that he did this year was we have implemented a new e-scheduling in the fire department to try to help with their overtime. Trying to pull their overtime down. So he has implemented a new scheduling system for his time cards so that he can try to control his overtime a little bit more. So I think he was thinking that he was going to be able to pull that down, so he set it at 35 instead of the 50. But in reality, last year it was 52. So there's not anything extraordinary that's in there or that we're expecting that's out of the norm. So.
Is it typically those type of services in that
Yeah,
line item?
like for the ambulance payment, what the ambulance payment is we have a company that we hire that collects the ambulance payments, and then we pay them a portion of what they collect for that. So we consider that professional services. So you have things in there like that are, audits, when you pay audit bills, they go in professional services. Anytime you have to hire somebody for something that's not a repair, or, if we have a building, something on the building and we have to hire architecture or something like that, then those things go into professional services.
Okay.
So it's a typical account that we use throughout the entire city.
Mr. Meyer?
While we have the budget in front of us, I think it's time for the council to think about having a budget committee for next year.
That's going to be a separate issue.
I'm talking.
That's still a separate issue.
I have the floor, sir.
It's a separate issue. It's a point of order. It's a point of order.
I have the floor.
No, sir. It's a point of order.
The floor. Robert's Rules of Order states that I have the floor.
I disagree.
Please.
It's a point of order if you're going into a different ordinance.
We have spent $19,000 some on 2 police cars. We've spent $13,000 sniper rifle and accessories along with extra stuff. None of us knew about that sort of thing. If we have our own committee, we can look these things over. That's all I've got to say.
All right. We're on the resolution to approve the mid-year budget adjustments. Do I hear any more questions? All right, Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion that we assign this resolution a number and read it for passage.
Second.
And Mr. McClung made the motion, and Ms. Autumn, Ms. Slane seconded. All right.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
Signing resolution number 849, a resolution amending the adopted 2023 budgets for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas as a result of the mid-year budget review process. Whereas in the opinion of the city council, the 2023 fiscal budget should be amended to reflect the following changes both in revenue and expenditure budgetary amounts as set forth hereafter. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Eureka Springs, Section 1, this resolution shall be known as the 2023 mid-year budget resolution for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the 12-month period beginning January 1st through 2023 and ending December 31st, 2023. And the attached documents present revisions to estimates for revenues and expenditures for the period. All revenues and appropriations are based on estimated revenues, and all estimates are subject to change during the budgetary period. Section 2, the amounts for revenues and expenditures proposed in this 2023 mid-year amended budget are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes set forth in the calendar year ending December 31st, 2023. The amendments are as follows. Revenue. Dispersing fund, original budget 0, amended 8,250 with an 8,250 increase. And general fund, 6,207,461, amended 6,293,661, with an $86,200 increase. Street fund, $1,256,800, amended budget $1,348,225 with a $91,425 increase. Lot fee, $390,000 with an amended budget of $463,500 with a $73,500 increase. General fund capital, original budget $495,400, amended budget $527,201 with a $31,801 increase. Debt servicing, $1,591,600 for the original budget with a $1,591,600 $638,372 amended budget with a $46,772 increase. Capital project funds, $1 million, amended budget, $1,030,339 with a $30,339 increase. Court automation, $11,000, amended budget, $11,225 with a $225 increase. Fireman's pension, $101,000 for the original budget, amended budget, $109,500 with a $8,500 increase. Water sewer original, $1,977,500. Amended budget, $2,117,500 with a $140,000 increase. Transit original budget, $1,414,907 with a $1,520,000 amended budget, $105,093 increase. Expenditures. General fund, the original budget was $5,861,973. Amended budget $5,998,700 with a $136,727 increase. Street fund, original budget is $1,233,419. Amended budget $1,299,716 with a $66,296 increase. Lot fee, $390,000 was original budget, $462,600 amended budget, $72,600 increase. General fund capital, $492,400, amended budget $500,701 with a $8,301 increase. Debt service fund, $1,590,000. Amended budget, $1,632,772 with a $42,772 increase. Capital project funds, $1 million was the original budget. Amended budget, $1,030,339 with a $30,339 increase. Fireman's pension, original budget was $101,000. Amended budget, $105,500 with a $4,500 increase. Water sewer, original budget $1,953,441 with an amended budget of $2,088,291 with a $134,850 increase. Transit, $1,409,265 for the original budget. Amended budget was $1,480,369 with a $71,104 increase. The totals are as follows. Total revenues, all funds, original budget $14,445,668. Amended budget $15,067,773 with a $622,105 increase. Total expenditures, all funds, original budget is $14,042,498. Amended budget $14,609,987 with a $567,489 increase. Net revenue and expenditures is $403,170 for the original budget and $457,786 for the amended.
Thank you very much. All right, our next item of business is new business for ordinance vacating Hayden Street between Block 147, Lot 1, and Block 136, Lot 12. Motion to discuss.
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, discussing. Ms. Lane seconded. We had the public hearing. Nobody was here for comments on this. This vacation came about, doesn't show it on this survey, but the house was built half on the street. So that's what came about for this ordinance and vacating the street. There is no concern from the police, fire, or public works. So it's just a portion, basically a block long, I believe, for the length of the lot anyway. 75 feet, 77 feet, something like that. Mr. McClung?
I'd like to sign this ordinance number and put it up for its first reading.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Mr. McClung and Ms. Green seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. Meyer?
Is this going to be split between the two properties?
There's a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. So moved.
Signing ordinance number 2346, an ordinance vacating a portion of Hayden Street between Block 147 and Block 136. Whereas a petition was duly filed with the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas on the 28th day of August 2023, asking the City Council to vacate and abandon all that portion of the street designated on the plat of the Riley and Armstrong survey of the city between blocks 147 and 136. Whereas after due notice, as required by law, the council has, at the time and place mentioned in the notice, heard all persons desiring to be heard on the question and has ascertained that the street or the portion thereof hereinbefore described has heretofore been dedicated to public use as a street herein described has not actually used by the public, generally for a period of at least 5 years subsequent to the filing of the plat, that all the owners of the property abutting the portion of the street to be vacated have filed with the council their written consent to the abandonment, and that the public interest and welfare will not be adversely affected by the abandonment of the street. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas releases, vacates, and abandons all its rights together with the rights of the public generally and into the street designated as follows. The portion of Hayden Street between Lot 12 Block 136 and Block 1 of 147 of the Riley and Armstrong survey. Section 2, a copy of the ordinance duly certified by the city clerk or town recorder shall be filed in the office of the recorder of the county and recorded in the deed records of the county. That's something we need to fix.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion we approve this ordinance on its first reading.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to approve it on first reading. Mr. Myers seconded. Any questions?
I have a question. Under Section 1, where it says Lot 12 of Block 136 and Block 1 of 147?
That needs to be corrected. That was an error.
Okay.
Do we need to make an amendment for that purpose?
Yes, if you guys don't mind, correcting that to Lot 1 of Block 147.
I make a motion that we amend it to, you said Lot 1 of Block 147?
Yeah, Lot 1 of Block 147.
Make an amendment to change it to Block 1 of Lot 147.
All right.
Second.
Okay, you second it?
I second.
All right, any further discussion on that amendment? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, that brings us up to,
No, sir. No, sir. We haven't voted on it yet. We just voted on the amendment.
I know, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to the next item for bid.
No, you're ready to hold for a vote on approval of ordinance 2346 on its first reading. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved. Mr. McClung?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. We suspend the rules And read ordinance number 2346 by title only for its second reading.
I'll second.
Mr. McClung made the motion to suspend the rules and read 2346 by title only. Mr. Myers seconded. Any comments, discussion? Hearing none.
Terry McClung,
Yes?
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
David Avanzino.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2346, an ordinance vacating a portion of Hayden Street between Block 147 and Block 136.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2346 on its second reading.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made a motion to approve ordinance 2346 on second reading. Mr. Myers seconded. Any comments, discussion? Hearing none.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holt, oh, sorry, Terry McClung,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yeah.
Mr. McClung.
If I can make a motion that we suspend the rules and read this ordinance for its 2346 for its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Mr. McClung made a motion to suspend the rules and read 2346 by title only for its third and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing none.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes?
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
Okay.
Ordinance number 2346, an ordinance vacating a portion of Hayden Street between Block 147 and Block 136.
Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2346 on its third and final reading.
And I'll second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to approve ordinance 2346 on third and final reading. Mr. Myers seconded. Any comments? Hearing none.
Terry McClung,
Yes?
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Melissa Green.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. McClung.
Yes, the emergency clause is here. I assume it was placed there for a reason, so.
Yeah, it's under contract for
Yeah,
sale.
okay. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we read the emergency clause.
Second.
All right, any comments, discussion? Hearing none.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Melissa Green,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes?
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
Emergency clause, section 3, that due to the need to consistently apply all laws and ordinances of the city of Eureka Springs and for the health safety of citizens of the city, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall take effect upon passage by the Eureka Springs City Council and signing by the Eureka Springs Mayor and City Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you all.
All right.
All right, that brings us up to our next item is recycling bags. Okay, get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
Second.
All right.
All right. So I have compiled a little bit of information about what program we currently have and a little bit of information to a possible new program. Right now, Carroll County picks up yellow bags, or you can purchase their carts for $65 or $95. This program allows you to put as much trash as you want in the yellow bags and they'll pick it up. It costs the city $15,000 a year for this program. It was designed and thought that people would recycle more and possibly or potentially use less yellow bags. Right now, I think there is just kind of a massive misunderstanding of what goes in the yellow bag, whether it's trash or recycled products. So at the bare minimum, we have a miscommunication with our residents. Residents can purchase yellow bags from one retailer, Hart's, or City Hall, which is limited hours. So it's kind of difficult to get them. Average cost per bag is $2.09. I'm estimating about 16,000 bags per year. So that doesn't include the cart usage. The small bags are sold $7 for 20, large bags $9 for 12. Right now, our city purchases the bags through one company and for $30,000 a year. The residents buy the bags for only $35,000 a year. So really, our revenue is about $4,000 to $5,000. And then if you add in the $15,000 that we already spend, you're at a negative $10,000. So with that being said, we're not paying a lot, but we're not really getting a lot either. Right now, our community has seen Carroll County struggle to pick up downtown. We've had issues with recycling and trash being left on the streets, leaving us to store the trash bags in an already tight area. I think the yellow bags have served us well up until now, but I feel like it's an antiquated system that soon will be extremely out of date, and we just need a more tidy and less contributing thing to the landfill. I'm suggesting we bring this in-house. I went over some numbers here that it's just a kind of a rough draft to see if I'm shooting in the dark, if anybody is wanting to join on with this. So I'm thinking we do a monthly added cost to your bill, depending on the trash usage. We would be providing a cart and a recycle bin with no additional charge. So our residents would be charged, for example, $12 a month for a 32-gallon trash cart, which is like 3 bags a week, or $18 a month for a 64-gallon, or $24 a month for 96-gallon. These are just examples of what we could potentially do. I ran some numbers. If everyone had a medium cart, right now we have 12,000 water bills in Eureka. So that would be a revenue of $220,000 per month, which is over $2 million a year. So how do we get there?
We don't have 12,000 water accounts
No?
in the city.
Well, I pulled that information from our recent water.
Simon, you want to come up?
I can't imagine it being anything like that.
I don't think we have 12,000 either.
Are you including commercial?
Even
Nope.
with
It was
commercial.
just the residential.
So right now we have approximately, 2,175
2,000.
accounts.
Okay.
But not all of them use the trash service. Some of them have roll-off dumpsters, commercial businesses. I think maybe you guys have that in different things. So they're not charged the typical trash rate like everybody else is. I think Autumn, I'm sorry, but I have
That's
to
okay.
disagree with you on your numbers.
Okay.
They're really low on the trash service side of things because the haul to Taneytown landfill, I mean, there's a lot of fuel associated with that, wear and tear on a truck, and also the cost to dump by the ton there. But I've researched these numbers before with the municipality that I was a director at, and at that time, that was back in 2018, and it would at $16 a household with the average trash, it was just a break-even number because the average house, and you guys have to forgive me because I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I want to say it was like 500 pounds a month per household. But that would have included, the trash bins and recycle totes and all that kind of stuff. But that was also in a city that was really close to a landfill, so we didn't have that long haul. I think if the city were to entertain doing something like that, I think we'd be really close to what Carroll County already charges us.
Well, but, okay, so I don't know where these numbers, this water bill came from what you just gave us with the water, what water bills we are being charged when we just did this water update. That's where this number came from.
What was that number? 12,000 something? We don't even have 12,000 people in the city. You know,
We don't have 12,000 meters.
Yeah.
Well, then how, what?
I don't know. I don't know where you got it.
That'd be 6
gonna have
meters
to-
per person. Not bad.
I like those numbers.
I'm telling you.
Unfortunately, it's not realistic.
I mean, every single one of them had an address.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well-
you're more like 2,200 water bills instead of 12,200.
And then our bags, we are spending on average about $30,000 a year on trash bags. We sell them at a little bit higher rate than what we purchase them for, but it's not a whole lot. So we're not really going negative in the purchasing of the bags themselves. But we only have one vendor to buy them from. And I recall back, I don't know, about a year ago, we were talking about the issues with the trash bags and the thicknesses of them and all that. We don't really have a whole lot of choice, you know, when it comes to that, because we have them screen printed and everything else. So.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, I do agree with her. I would like to figure some way to get rid of the trash bags too. You know, when we initiated that, that was all about encouraging people to separate recycling and you know, I confess I didn't separate anything back then. You know, it all went in the same can, and it took me a long time to even quit doing that, using the yellow bags. I threw everything in the yellow bags, but I'm a little better at it now, and I do separate things and do my recycling, and I think a lot of people have, you know, come a long way, and they're doing that too. A lot of places have 2 containers, where you have a container that you put your trash in, and then you have another one you put your recycling in, and they pick it up. You know, you got to set it out and do it that way. And we do pay something on our water bill already for that service. I would like the city to look at something along those lines, and maybe Autumn would, I know she's put some time in this, and she would be willing to assist and see if there isn't a way to come
Maybe
up
she
with a
can talk
plan like
with
that.
George over at Carroll County Solid Waste. There's a lot of issues when you're talking about trash. One is your dumping and where you're going to haul it to. Tonytown's getting ready to shut their place down. Carroll County's now going to Springfield. So you've got people on that route and the cost of that and the mileage and everything else.
Wow. So we may be going up anyway.
Well, right now, I don't know. The recycling is making a small profit for Carroll.
Well, I think if you had the 2 containers, I think you would still get people, you know, willing to do that. It just, it may not be separated
sure
as much as it is this way, but it would be still available.
Mr. Myers?
Carroll County Solid Waste is nonprofit, right?
It's a government operation, just like we are.
Yeah, so all we're paying for is the operation of that, of Carroll County Solid Waste. And I can say I, for one, wouldn't like a deal like this, because I fill maybe one of those yellow bags a week. Sometimes it goes 2 weeks. I can fill the recycling bin every week. So, you know, that's the way I shop and the way I eat. So I know everybody has their own way of doing things, but I don't mind the yellow bags. At least, if you've got a container with trash in it, it's going to stink because there's no bag in there. So you're going to have to buy some kind of bag, I would think, or use some kind of bag to put your
Absolutely, I
stinky
agree
old
with
trash.
that. I do. I mean, I'd still use a bag. And I don't mind an inexpensive bag. You know, I mean, I would certainly want to bag my trash from the house and put it in a container in that way, because, I mean, otherwise you'd be cleaning the can out every week. But, so, you know, I mean, but I think you can do that with trash. They're making most trash bags these days, unless you're getting industrial strength or commercial grade, are a lighter, more biodegradable plastic And, they're more,
Even my white hefty trash bags rip.
oh yeah, they all rip. Yeah, but they're better than they used to be as far as biodegradable status, whatever you want to call it. They're never going to be good. Plastic's always, they want you to recycle plastic, but they keep making everything out of it. It's just like, I don't get it. But anyway, I'm for it.
Ms. Lane, would you like for me to reach out to Carroll County and get some more information for you for the next council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could do
I've
that.
reached out to him already, but, I'm got the first swipe kind of thing.
Okay.
But I'm going to send you this.
You have a question?
Oh, I was just going to say, that's the biggest complaint I get, continuous complaint, is the yellow bags.
We get them down there too.
Yeah, I think it's something we should keep after and maybe think of some ways to come up, but I agree with Harry. I don't want us to get away from the recycling and kind of what the yellow bags represent.
I think, and it's just point of information, I think one of the things that make Eureka successful is the yellow bags. Berryville and Green Forest don't have yellow bags, and they don't have near the recycling response that we have.
Right, and I think it's so important.
I mean, they've got big places, of course, they've got a trash and recycling center, just like we do. But as far as homes go, I don't think it's near the same.
But
Both of my
Mr.
children live in towns that provide 2 containers. One for your garbage and one for recycling. And, it's a no-brainer. You got to do it. If you throw the wrong thing in that can, they'll leave it. Just like they'll do it here.
Yeah.
And so, you don't do that usually more than once. So, I like that idea.
I think we should continue just to explore it and,
What I could do is I'll explore the differences in the trash carts like you did, Ms. Lane, on this. And, if we limit their trash carts to a smaller size, it'll also encourage recycling as well. So, that might be an option that you guys decide to go with. But I'll try to get some different numbers from the Carroll County Solid Waste and have that for the next meeting.
so does everybody feel like it's just not an option to bring it in-house at all?
I don't think we can afford it.
Okay.
No.
I think it's just too expensive. I don't, even I kind of question $100,000 on the truck.
Unless you want to dig a hole in your backyard.
To get started, you're looking at
My
a good,
backyard, your
probably $1
backyard.
million to get started by the time you hire the staff and pay for the workman comp for trash truck, solid waste employees is really, really high. And the trucks, they're only getting more expensive, and you're supposed to replace them every few years. So you have to create your rates at high enough to where you're building that revenue to be able to replace your equipment fairly often. So, and then you have to have some kind of redundancy in their operations. So if you have a truck break down, you don't have another one, then you have a lot of upset citizens. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want to table it for next time?
Well, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Bring it up again. You know it.
Thanks, Ms. Swain. All right, next item of business is police department discussion. So, I think
Motion
Mr.
to
Myers.
discuss.
Okay, get a second?
I'll second.
All right. I think you had a lot of comments during questions during citizens' comments. I don't know, Mr. Myers, you want to lead off?
Well, why do we have a sniper rifle?
Number one, the reason we have, they keep calling it a sniper rifle. That just happens to be the name of that particular model that came from Wilson's gun shop.
Well,
Okay.
it's a long-range
everyone-
rifle with
Right,
a
it is.
large
And that's fine.
Okay, so large
Okay.
flash
Yes.
muzzle flash?
The reason we have one is because we have members who are on a shared SRT team with another agencies, okay?
Why didn't
Because-
we get it from the Department of Defense for free?
Because the Department of Defense, the stuff that we could have got from them for free is not like what this is. It is old, I know, because we have a contract with the Department of Defense, okay? The rifles that we can get from the Department of Defense are old and outdated, ex-military, Vietnam era rifles, okay? And as far as with we have an obligation with this community to protect this community. Now, as part of that obligation, as officers, we have to account for everything that we do, correct? So if we have to fire a shot, whether it's on an animal, whether putting a deer down or anything else, we have to account for that. So if we're going to protect our people, do we want to rely on something that's from the 1950s, 1960s, or do we want something modern that we know is going to work very well? They did back then. But if you want to protect yourself, do you want to protect yourself with something that's been that was used in a war and probably fired 15, 20,000 times, or do you want to protect it with something that you know is going to work every single time?
What are the chances that we're going to have any sort of situation like that?
We don't know, but we have to train and be prepared for it. We hope that nothing ever happens. God forbid something ever happens. But if something happened and we weren't prepared for it, then what would we do?
The sheriff's office or the state police for that sort of thing? Because the state police is better prepared, they're better trained, they know what they're doing.
Now,
they're not
with
that far away.
With that being done, state police has the same certification that we do. Okay, our officer, the officer that's issued to, he has to be certified on that from the state. Okay, we are here. State police are not here. It could be, depending on the time of day, it could be an hour for a trooper showed up. Okay, but not all troopers are certified for that either. Sheriff's office doesn't have that equipment.
What about the sheriff's office?
They don't have that equipment.
Aha. They don't have it, but we've got to have it here.
We're not the only ones.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
I would really like a breakdown on that rifle. I can't believe that it's a $13,000 sniper rifle.
It wasn't a $13,000 sniper rifle. As the invoice shows, it was $3,075.
Yeah,
not $13,000.
$3,285 is what I've got here, but then you add the muzzle brake for $44, the rapid thread muzzle brake for $56. The case is free. Also bought 10 pistol sights, kind of red dots. We need red dot sights. You get a lot of toys at the police department. A fancy carbine stock for the rifle, $2,218.
Those were two separate rifles.
Two separate. We got two rifles?
Those were two. That was an invoice for two rifles, also for SRT. Members on our SRT team.
What's SRT?
Special Response Team, SWAT.
Oh, okay, okay.
They're specially trained. They have further training beyond patrolman.
Telescopic sights for those. All right, so we got two rifles for $13,000. Is that the deal?
Two rifles for $13,000. Is that what you said?
It's not the money.
No, you said no. Wait, but you're saying $13,000.
If he's saying it's a separate
Mr. Myers, wait a minute. Are you saying it's $13,000?
If he's saying that this bill here was for another rifle, which is one that I mentioned, this one here, M&P.
The invoice from Gulf States Distributors, there were two separate rifles for the SRT team. I think it was $2,200 or something like that. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head because I'm not looking at that invoice.
$2,425.
Those were for two separate rifles.
For two more rifles besides this one here.
Different calibers.
Right, so
they have a different use.
We have three rifles.
Yes. Well, we have those three rifles. Patrolmen have a different rifles.
How many rifles do we have?
Each patrolman is issued a rifle.
Huh?
Each patrolman is issued a rifle that we already had in inventory.
So we've got 15 of them?
Mm-hmm.
For a town of 2,200 people,
Mm-hmm.
15 rifles.
We have numerous officers. Each officer is issued a rifle and a pistol and a shotgun. Yes, miss.
Okay. So are these normal guns that
Anyone can buy these.
but any police department
Mm-hmm.
is issuing their people? This is not above and beyond?
No, most departments issue firearms to the officer. The reason that most departments issue firearms is because then, if the department issues it and it's owned by the department, then the department can regulate that certain weapon. If someone uses their own personal weapon, you can't regulate that weapon.
Right.
So we want to make sure they're staying in certain criteria instead of, we don't want someone out there running around with a certain, let's say a hair trigger, like you'll see you'll mention people with hair triggers. We don't want that. We don't want them accidentally going off.
Thank you.
I Googled crime rate in Eureka Springs, and it came out to be a fantastically high number. Why is that?
A lot of times whenever you Google certain crime rates for Eureka Springs, that includes the entire crime rate for the Western District of Carroll County, not just our corporate city limits. And yes, the crime rate outside of our city limits is higher than what our city limits is.
What is our rate in the city?
I couldn't give you the percentage right off the top of my head, but I can give y'all the stats, which I submit every month. I just don't remember them off the top of my head. Ms. Green.
Chief Young, is the person that would be handling the rifle in question, are they certified and trained?
Yes. Above and beyond the normal patrolman, yes.
Okay.
They have to be.
Okay, and where is this weapon kept?
He is responsible for this weapon. He keeps that weapon with him.
Okay, so
He has to be responsible for that weapon.
So there's just one officer that...
There's just one officer that's issued that weapon.
So he can take it home with him.
He usually does, and he usually keeps it in his office.
But he could.
When he's on duty. He could. He's responsible for that weapon. Just like they're responsible for each officer, anything that's issued to that officer is responsible for it.
So what you're really saying is this is not uncommon for police forces in Arkansas to have this rifle?
No. The main difference between this weapon and, let's say, your typical average patrol rifle that the other ones are done is basically the caliber, and the company that makes this weapon guarantees its accuracy, and also if anything happens with this weapon, it's literally the town next door. We don't have to ship it off. We take it over there, they fix it, and they bring it right back, no charge.
For my part, militarizing our police department is not a good idea. And I call these kinds of rifles.
As far as militarization, we don't have military. People talk about military weapons. None of our weapons are fully automatic. Go ahead.
There's no doubt
It'll
that...
shoot as fast as you pull the trigger.
Ms. Slane?
There's no doubt that our community has an ebb and flow of guests coming in that reach above and beyond our local residents. And I understand that you have to protect that on any given day. And if these are normal guns and normal things, I understand that. But I know Wilson in combat. That's a nice gun. That's a really nice gun.
It's guaranteed and warranted and everything else. And unfortunately, you got to pay for quality. And with quality, it's guaranteed a certain accuracy that other companies don't have. And we're responsible for accuracy. So, yeah,
And I understand that. But with your budget being one of the highest in the city, I think it is our responsibility to see what these things are for and if it's going to a good cause, because we're over here making sidewalks to nowhere because we can't afford to make it any longer. So I feel like this should have went through this board to approve.
I budgeted for it last year. I added it for my budget for this year's budget. The budget was approved. and we purchased it.
Right, but we didn't see that detail because it's not detailed to us. And 3 flashlights for $580? That's some
I don't know
fancy-
which flashlight, unless you're
Stinger.
talking. Okay, those are the patrolman's flashlights. They're rechargeable flashlights. They're a little over $100 a piece. Every officer is
Got
issued a
3 of them,
flashlight,
3 of them
rechargeable.
for almost $600.
Well, but before that, it was Maglite, which was $100 a piece.
Right, and they wore out, and the
So-
batteries were shot, and they were big and bulky, and
Yeah.
I believe they were $166 apiece.
Chief Young, is this a one-time purchase on this gun?
yes.
So there will be
Yeah,
no...
I don't need to purchase anymore. Well, each patrolman is not, doesn't
Everybody's
have that
got one.
certification, so no, we don't need to buy them.
So this is, everybody has one, or?
No,
this
no.
is- this-
Only one officer is issued that rifle. He has to
Okay.
be certified with it. If he
Okay.
ever leaves, the next person to ever be issued that rifle has to be certified
Okay.
to use that
So
rifle.
the rest of you don't have a rifle
No,
like that?
no, we just have
Okay.
regular patrol rifles. Actually, I don't even have a city-owned rifle. I let them have them.
So what's the difference
Do
between,
all the body cameras work?
Yes, at this point in time.
what's the
But
difference between the
they've
patrol?
not worked at times?
Yes, we've had to ship them off and get fixed at times. We need to get more because we only have 6. We need to get more. Yes.
What's the difference between your regular patrol rifle and the special rifle that you ordered?
The main difference is the caliber, and also the equipment that that rifle is built with is a lot, if it's heavier steel or what it is, because it is a larger caliber for longer distance. So it's a heavier grade material that it's made out of.
Mr. McClung?
You can purchase a run-of-the-mill name brand AR-15 at a retail store for $600.
Yeah, and it'll kill just as easy as 5,000.
Well, but they're not, I mean, they will, but that's true. But what they're using is upgraded with the optics and things like that, that a common rifle
Professional.
doesn't have. It just has a standard sights, and it's not a,
What kind of range can you shoot in this town? How far? Pick a spot. I guess you'd have to be on top of the Crescent Hotel and you might be able to shoot somebody at the lookout on East Mountain, but that's about it. I'm sorry. I've had my say. I think this is good reason for the council to have their own budget committee so that we can meet publicly and discuss these things.
Chief, was it, you mentioned that we had an agreement with surrounding cities for SRTs.
Yes, yes.
Was
There's
there-
one team, there's multiple officers with each agency to form one
Yes,
team that.
correct.
Yes.
So is it safe to assume that this agreement with surrounding cities and the SRT, that each city is responsible for the purchase of this type of weapon?
Their own, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we don't supply for their officers. We only supply for our own officers who are on that team.
Yes.
They have to supply for their own officers on that team.
So just to make it clear, every officer has a handgun that the city provides. Every officer has a shotgun that the city provides. And every officer has a rifle that the city
A patrol
supplies.
rifle, yes, not
No hand
that grade.
grenades.
No,
All right.
no.
No
No
rocket-
hand grenades,
no
no
rocket
fully automatic
launchers.
weapons, none of that. We don't want, I don't want to put that kind of stuff in an officer's hands either. I don't want to be responsible for that.
All the mass shootings that have happened with semi-automatic rifles. You can shoot as fast as you pull the trigger. So it's not, saying it's not fully automatic doesn't really mean a lot.
It just means that when you
can
pull that
just
trigger,
empty
you
the-
have to intentionally pull the trigger more than once.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I think all of us respect you at this table, and I don't want this to feel as an attack.
Oh, I don't
but
feel attacked at all.
we are responsible for maintaining the budget. And, you know, it is concerning when some of these things are brought up and we feel as if it was not brought to this table.
Right. And I think a lot of it was, there was some accusations made out there about a certain price that it wasn't that certain price to throw it up there to begin with.
And I agree. It was not the price
not.
that I thought it was as well.
No.
So.
And there was a lot of stuff in that. And I know one of the other questions that came up was about the vehicle, the equipment that was in the vehicles. Now, that certain line item did go over because of having to purchase the equipment that went in those vehicles, because from the year before, the prices had went up on that equipment. I didn't have any choice in that matter. It also came back, there was a question that arose before about why didn't we budget the equipment in the vehicle along with the purchase of the vehicle. That's because we used to do it that way, but the previous finance had us change that because they said that's the way that the
auditors?
Yeah, the auditors wanted that separated. So that's why we had to separate it.
Okay.
So the vehicles are down here in the Capitol, but the equipment to go in the vehicles has to be separate out of the equipment. And it just, the price went up over whenever I got it quoted the year before.
Well, and in these days, you guys are having a lot more technology in the vehicle than ever before, so.
Well, it's just like when we was talking about the, for the IT, because of Omnigo. Omnigo is our reporting system. Well, we have added CAD, and if anyone is familiar with whether it be dispatch or computers in general, they know about CAD systems and CAD mapping. Well, we're trying to get our department to the 21st century here. We've got CAD mapping now as part of our dispatch, which helps us tremendously. I mean,
So that maps out all the CADs in town?
CADs, not cats.
CADs. Oh.
No.
Sorry.
Honestly, it kind of goes over my head a little bit, just to be honest. But everyone's doing it, and the people who operate it know in it, and
I think you may need to explain what CAD mapping is.
yeah, that's what it is, CAD mapping. Any other questions?
Did you order some more body cameras?
No, that's actually body cameras I plan on doing for next year.
Because if an officer goes to a scene with a body camera that ain't working, and
It's not
somebody
good.
gets
We need
shot,
more body cameras.
we need the body camera.
I agree completely.
Before this rifle, we needed body cameras.
We need more body cameras.
All right, any other questions from council?
Does every vehicle have a dash cam?
No, they do not.
Why is that?
Because that would be an additional, it would be about almost $5,000 per unit to add a dash cam. They are way more expensive.
Yeah.
It's just part of the baby steps.
All right, any other comments for the chief? Nope. All right, thank you, Brian.
All right.
All right, that concludes our business for tonight. We can get into agenda setting.
I'd like to add code enforcement.
I'll second that.
Can you give me a little hint? Code enforcement, general what?
Yeah, general.
All right, anything else? All right, council comments. Mr. Almanzino, I'll start on your side.
I have no comments right now.
Ms. Green?
Beautiful weather.
Who's that? Ms. Slane?
Thank you all for listening to my presentation with my wrong numbers. But I really want to get to the bottom of our trash and recycling. So thank you for working with me.
Mr. Myers?
Well, we still have a Confederate monument in our cemetery, which was used fraud to get put there. I hope it gets removed.
Mr. McClung?
I agree. Beautiful weather. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Robert Cray this next Sunday. Yes. It'll be a great show.
Oh, yeah. I don't have Robert on here. He's playing the 1st of October?
Yeah,
Yep,
Sunday.
yep.
Next Sunday.
Yeah, Robert Cray. Yeah.
Okay, you want to go ahead?
Right here in this building, upstairs.
Upstairs. Right here. October 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. I'm sure we're all glad it's a little bit of peace and quiet in town today. But I did want to, I wanted to share some numbers, some factual numbers for people out in TV land and stuff, because I saw a lot of different things being told about how busy the fire department EMS was and how many motorcycle wrecks there were and how many fatalities and all that. This weekend, since the bikes and festival came in, they responded to 49 incidents and had 59 patient contacts. There was a total of 10 motorcycle accidents that they responded to that they felt were because of the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue event. 6 people were flown or transported due to service energy from 4 of the 10 motorcycle accidents. The balance of the motorcycle accidents had either minor or no injuries reported. In this time frame, there were 6 helicopters utilized, 4 because of the motorcyclist injuries, and 2 that were unrelated to motorcycle collisions. There were 2 deaths during this time frame, but neither was a result of injuries sustained from an accident. No motorcycle fatalities were reported during this time. Motorcycle-related patients accounted for approximately 22% of the total patient encounters with our EMS. And of those motorcycle patients, serious injured patients accounted for approximately 10% of the total patient encounter. So, the EMS had doubled up, and they had all their people there. They had extra ambulances ready. They had a third call out, and they really never even needed a third call out. So I think overall, everything went pretty smooth as far as accidents go, and considering how many bikes were in town.
I'd just like to say one thing in regard to that. It's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm tickled to death that they took the steps to be prepared.
We had the police. We had the police out, the county, the sheriffs, EMS. Everybody was out working. So I'm glad everything went through smoothly. So we're very, very fortunate. Going on to events, as noted, we got the Robert Cray coming in this October 1st in the auditorium here. And then on the 29th, we have the citywide Oktoberfest. And there we go. That kind of shows, you can zoom in on that maybe, or maybe not. But they got the entertainment, beer garden, entertainment district Friday and Saturday. Food, beer, and music offerings going to be, of course, at locations all over town. Music in Basin Park Saturday from 11 to 4. Hillberry Music Festival on October 4th through the 6th out at the farm. Got the 32nd Annual Corvette Weekend, October 5th through the 8th up at Pine Mountain. Parade will be Saturday, October 7th at 6:30, starting out at Christian Church on Passion Play Road, going to the end of the Ozarks. There'll be no downtown routing for the Corvettes. Witches Escape, October 6th and 7th, all over town. This is a fundraiser for the museum. And last year, this has really grown. So there's a lot of activity and a lot of people excited over that. And then the Last Drumming in the Park. That sounds like a movie. Last Drumming in the Park will be October 6th at 6 o'clock in Basin Park. So that's it. Thank y'all. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Yeah.